Welcome to Community Close-Up, and today we have as our guest today, Pastor Ken Jones. Welcome to
Honored to be here.
Rocky Mount and Tarboro and Nashville. Pastor Jones is from Louisburg, North Carolina, and he's with the Highest Praise Ministries in Louisburg. And Pastor Jones has written a book. It's called Time to Take America Back. And this is a straightforward book, folks. I mean, it's not a novel, and it's not a... it's telling the truth through Pastor Jones. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, the book, it really deals with the issues that I feel that are undermining the culture of America. You know, I believe that the average American will tell you that our nation is definitely not going in the right direction. And so what this book does is it addresses some of the issues that are undermining the foundation stones of our nation. And it also gives direction on how to get back some of the things that we've lost.
So if people want to, we're not a lost nation yet, but we're headed that way. We've got lots of problems that government itself is causing, that people are causing, that the morality of the people are causing.
Yeah, one of the great vacuums in our society is there seems to be a great void of truth, and you know, and unfortunately, it exists today. A large part, the church is partly responsible because we have failed to really step up to the plate and address the issues at the pertinent times when we should have. And because we haven't confronted those issues are now knocking on our doors.
And I was looking through just the simple table of contents, and you know, we're talking about gays in America, we're talking about Muslims in America, we're talking about the truth about being gay or not so gay, what made America a Christian nation. But to start with, you said the Founding Fathers were Christian. They were good men.
You know, the modern secularists today want to rewrite history. They want to try to convince the American people that we were a religious nation, but not necessarily a Christian nation, and this is completely untrue. When you take the time to research the historical documents that are out there, and they're available, you know, at a local library, anybody with access to the internet. But the truth of the matter is, of the 55 men that signed the Declaration of Independence, 52 of them were decidedly Christian men, and the other 3 were considered deists. And I'm certain, when I read the life history, that at least 2 of those 3 became born-again believers before they passed away. So America is decidedly Christian. 106 of the first 108 colleges and universities in America were Christian colleges and universities. That's something that the news media today will not tell. They want to cover up the truth because, you know, if we are Christian, then there's the need to believe in the Bible. And if we're moving away from the Bible, then we're moving away from our foundation stones. That's the reason that this has been so underreported, and it's no longer taught in our public schools. And,
you know, I would urge you to get this book and read it. It's called Time to Take America Back. It's available at several different locations.
Yes, it is. This book is available at our local church website, which is highestpraiseonline.org. It is also available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, as well as Zulon Press, who is the publisher of the book. And there's a YouTube video. You can type in Ken Jones, Time to Take America Back, and it'll give a brief video trailer of what this book is actually about.
This is exciting, all the technology and all that we use now to get the message out to people.
It really is. I was talking to my publisher a few weeks ago, and he told me that this book would also now be available in electronic. There's a lot of people who download electronic books. I think it's something like Kindle. I'm not real familiar with all of the new age technology that is out there today. but it is also available through the electronic bookstore as well as in paperback.
And you'll never really know who you touch, because thousands and hopefully hundreds of thousands of people will read this book and be touched by it. And
well, that's so true, Herb. A few months ago, the book was featured on American Family Radio, and it went coast to coast across all of their radio affiliates, which they have, I think, about 230 that are out there, stations that they own, and I don't know how many others are connected to them. But, we had got calls all over the country where people wanted to get the book. But, we want to address the things that are undermining the foundation stones of America. We spent 3 years putting this together. It is documented. There are 7 pages of sources in the back of the book. You don't have to take my word for anything that's said in there, whether you agree or disagree, but you can go to the source and check it out, because it'll stand on the merits of its own.
now you've also been in the Christian book browser. Can we hold that up?
Sure.
And this is a magazine that goes out to thousands of churches. It goes out to
Thousands of Christian bookstores all across the United States.
And you are one of 7.
That were featured on the front. That's correct.
And so somebody is reading your book.
And we're grateful for that. We really are.
That's important. I also see that you got the Certificate of Achievement from the Christian Choice Books Award for 2010.
Yes, this book won first place in its category on dealing with the cultural, political issues of our day. And so we're very grateful for God and humbled that God would bless us as He has.
Now, again, writing a book is not an easy thing. I mean, how long did it take you to write this book?
I have spent 3 years putting this together.
And what made you sit down and say, I've got to get it from here to the people?
There's a number of chapters in this book that address the abortion issue in America. And I think that was really a wake-up call to me. I have a heart for children. And when I began to realize that presently we have now annihilated more than 50 million babies in America.
Didn't know it was that much.
We are killing them at a rate of 3,000 plus a day, every day. And that's only the states that report. There's some states that no longer report, so you can't find the true figures that are out there. But with the figures that are available today, we're killing 3,000 a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I said, God help America. If God heard the blood of one soul when Cain slew his brother Abel, if He heard the blood, the innocent blood crying out, then, I know that if America does not change her course with more than 50 million innocent lives that have never committed sin, never done a crime, never hurt anyone, but have been slaughtered in the killing fields that we call abortion clinics. And it's almost as if nobody notices. We go to church every Sunday and we sing our hallelujahs and kumbayas just like nothing has ever happened. And I said, God help us. Because, Jesus loved the little children. The Bible said He took them and set them up on His lap. And He had a compassion for children. And I said, God, I don't know what I can do to save the life of a child, but I'm going to do what I can. And that was really the turning point. When I began to research this and I found out how bad it was. When you understand that Adolf Hitler during World War II, during the Holocaust, killed approximately 12 to 13 million people in the gas chambers of Auschwitz and Buchenwald and the other places that he had in the concentration camps. But here, America, we have done 4 times as bad as what Hitler done for the entire time of his atrocities. And we're supposed to be a Christian nation. And it ought to cause every Christian in America to cry out and say, God, have mercy on my nation.
People need to speak up. They need to unite. They need to get together and stop this abortion and stop these other atrocities.
It is so true. And that was another reason that I addressed the homosexual issue in this book. God loves the homosexual. Their sin is no different than any other sin. It's still sin, and you got to be forgiven for sin. But the fact of the matter is, we as a nation are now encouraging a lifestyle that statistics say will take an average of 18 to 20 years off of the life of every young person that enters that lifestyle. Why would we want to encourage our children to go into a lifestyle that is going to destroy their lives. The average homosexual, 1 out of every 2 homosexuals are going to come down with AIDS. 50% in America. Why would we promote a lifestyle that is going to destroy the lives of these young men and women? And you know, it's not that I know I hear it all. You know, when you make a stand, there's always those that say you're homophobic, but I'm not. You know, I love everybody out there, and I understand. I need to offer them some help and some hope, and His name is Jesus Christ. But at the same time, we have to protect those that are least able to protect themselves. What many people do not realize is that in America today, that in our public schools, there are more than 3,000 gay, homosexual, and lesbian clubs, and they're multiplying at a rate of 3 a day in public schools, where there's an indoctrination program to indoctrinate our young people, and even our education system that has been hijacked by radical liberals. They're promoting the very lifestyles that we know is going to destroy lives.
We saw a children's book called The King and His Friend, and it was about 2 princes that engaged in a gay relationship, and it made it look like a cartoon book that you would read to children.
Well, and you know, here was the thing about it. I remember when the gay movement began and it came out of the closet. Americans were taught, first, you've got to tolerate it. And then after it had been tolerated for a while, then we were told we had to accept it. And now, if you look at the political agenda that is coming forth from the political leaders in our nation, now we're being told that we've got to embrace it. And you know, if God calls something sin, it'll always be sin. And if the church doesn't step up and speak out now, it's going to be the church that's going to be in the closet real soon, because we're not going to be allowed to speak out. Our First Amendment rights to stand up and tell the truth are going to be silenced.
Every day you see evidence of that, every day, whether it's at the church or with broadcast or with media or other. Every day you're seeing somebody silencing somebody, or the government silencing somebody.
You know, one of the reasons that we've come to this place is because pastors have been too silent for too long, for fear of offending someone in their congregation, for fear that it might jeopardize their job, for fear that it might cut into their salaries. Pastors have failed to address the issues. And you know the thing about it, you read the Bible, I mean, it is filled with men of God who, though they were in the minority, they still stood up and were counted on God's side. And I believe what God is looking for today is Christian men and women that will stand up and be counted on God's side. And I know that's not everybody that's out there, but I know God's got somebody that is saying, you know what, this is for me. I've got to make a difference before it's too late and I can't.
It's in the book, Time to Take America Back by Pastor Ken Jones, and it's available at Amazon.com, at BarnesandNoble.com, and
highestpraiseonline.org.
And the publisher has a
Zulon Press. Yes, we're grateful for Zulon Press for publishing this work for us.
And it's a very straightforward. It's a very simple to read book. Very interesting that you talk about all facets of American life, and there's a lot of good things about America, but there's some things that we could do starting today to change it back so that it's a great country again. We've always been a great country, and we all feel that we're failing, and it's we've got to get together. We've got to read books like this. We've got to listen. And we've got to react. We've got to make a difference. We can make a difference as individuals.
Absolutely. You know,